This album is a departure for us. It's a lot like that show right there that's just scrolling up.
That one.
Right, it's gone now, you can't see it. But oh, there's another one. It's a little bit like that show.
The group's busy tour schedule left them with little time to record the album.
We've been saying for about 3 records now. Next time, we're going to take our time and
The subject tonight is diabetes. With us is Della Reese, actress, speaking publicly for the first time about having it. By the way, Della Reese, you can call 866-INFO-DIABETES for the Della Diabetes Information Center. 866-INFO-DIABETES. Dr. Andrew Wiles in Tucson, Arizona, the New York Times best-selling author. He's, of course, associated with the University of Arizona and is a graduate of Harvard. Here in L.A., the famous Jerry Mathers, best-known star of the best TV sitcom ever, Leave It to Beaver. He's got a website, too, www.jerrymathers.tv. He has type 2 diabetes. One of my favorites, Wilford Brimley, actor who also has type 2 diabetes. He's associated with Liberty Medical. You've seen the commercials, I'm sure. This leading supplier in home delivery of specialty medical supplies, including diabetes testing kits. And in Columbus, Ohio, is John Ratzenberger. There's that famous face. John, best known for his role as the know-it-all Cliff Clavin on Cheers. His teenage son has type 1 diabetes. He's an activist for diabetes awareness and research. He helped build the website, www.childrenwithdiabetes.com. Jerry, how did you discover you had type 2?
Well, you know what? I had done the new Leave It to Beaver, and I did that from 82 to 89, and I thought, I'm going to retire and lead the good life. And I thought that was like going out, eating, not getting a whole lot of exercise, kicking back.
Why not?
And I put on a lot of weight, and I had a very good friend that was a doctor. I'm 55 now. This is about 6 years ago. He started telling me, you know what, you better come in for a physical. And I said, I feel fine. I don't need a physical. Well, he finally cajoled me enough because he was a friend of mine. I'd see him at parties and things. I went in there, came back about 3 days later, and he said, how would you like to see your daughters graduate from high school? And I said, that'd be great. And get married and have grandkids. And I said, that'd be great. He said, if you don't do something about your diabetes, you'll be dead in 3 to 5 years. And I went, just like everybody else here has been saying, I thought I was fine. I had no idea I had it. So I started with diet and exercise, took off the weight, and you know, I'm controlling it. The insidious thing about this disease is that it's back-ended. If you can, the quicker you attack it and start to bring your blood sugars down and control it, you'll have a much better quality of life.
Wilford, how did you find out?
Well, I got pretty sick.
Oh, really?
I monkeyed around. I knew something was wrong. I thought I had cancer. I lost about 25 pounds in 3 weeks. And I had an unquenchable thirst. My tongue felt like a horseshoe rasp. I couldn't get enough to drink. I would wake up, well, I never went to sleep because I'd get up and urinate like every 30 minutes during the night. And finally, my son said, look, you know, you're either going to find out what's the matter with you or I'm going to drag you in there. And I was diagnosed with diabetes.
So you had the severe symptoms right from the get-go.
Well, I don't know about the get-go. I mean, I don't know how long I had it.
You weren't introduced through just a normal blood test. You were a sick person.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't see.
And that's common, right, Dr. Weil?
Yes. Well, this is the form. Do you take insulin, Wilford?
I'm on medication. I take Actos.
Okay, well, this is the more dramatic onset, which is less common with type 2.
Less common with type 2.
Yes.
But it can happen, obviously.
Can
and
happen.
John Ratzenberger, now, your teenage son has type 1, and that's more dangerous, right?
Correct, yeah. He was diagnosed when he was 4 years old, Larry. I just noticed he was drinking a lot, going to the bathroom a lot, and I'd had some exposure to the symptoms from a friend of mine in London, and so we took him to the doctor, and the doctor, incidentally, said that most children are brought in when they're in a coma. See, it has nothing to do with a sedentary lifestyle, type 1. You're just hit with it. It shuts down all insulin production in your pancreas, and in fact, Gary Hall, the Olympic athlete, he was diagnosed with type 1. So it has nothing to do with the sedentary lifestyle that type 2 does.
You don't have diabetes?
I do not, no.
Okay. Why is it called juvenile, John?
Well, because type 1 usually strikes children. 1 out of every 3 children are predisposed to it in the United States. Doesn't mean everyone's going to get it, but mostly children get it. And the tough part, especially for parents, like I said, my son was 4, but we have friends whose children were 18 months old. And what the child doesn't understand is that when you're coming into the room with a syringe to save its life every day, all they can translate is the pain. And so you get kids not understanding until they're at the age of reason. And so it becomes very even tough on the parents. So it's really the whole family is involved when a child gets diabetes. But my son, he's my hero. He's, had it for 11 years now. He's a well-honed athlete.
Takes insulin every day?
Oh, he has an insulin pump. Oh, yeah, he has an insulin pump. He has to take insulin every day. Anyone with type 1 diabetes takes insulin every single day. And insulin
Does he ever go into shock?
No, he has not yet, thank God. No, he's pretty well monitored. He's a very focused young man.
Dr. Weil, doesn't type 1 diabetes indicate a shorter lifespan?
Again, if the disease is well controlled, you can slow down the acceleration of atherosclerosis and the complications that usually shorten lifespan. The interesting research coming out about type 1 diabetes is that it too may have a dietary connection. That it looks as if that the introduction of certain kinds of protein in an infant's or young child's diet at a certain critical period, either too soon or too late, may trigger the autoimmune reaction in genetically susceptible people.
What about
the ones? Yeah, cow's milk and wheat protein have been particularly suspect. So maybe one day we'll be able to identify these things, and if a child is born with this genetic constitution, we may be able to prevent the onset of this disease.
Because I've learned that researchers at the University of Colorado, through the Barbara Davis Center for Childhood Diabetes, found that the age matters when introducing cereal to children regarding diabetes.
Exactly. So it's the protein in these grains, but we don't know exactly when this critical period is. But this looks to me like a very promising line of research.
Della, does all this scare you?
Not anymore.
Did it?
It did scare me. It did scare me because all of my information was negative. You see, everything it just
it's a
seemed.
Bad word,
it just seemed like this was.
Good.
I had discovered the way I had to die. You see, and
You scared?
I definitely was scared, but I knew that if I did certain things and took certain steps, that I could definitely prolong my life and make it a lot better.
Do you test yourself every day, Wilford?
About 4 times.
Just take the little blood prick. Now, what do you do if the reading's high?
Well, if the reading's high, I maybe go for a little walk.
It'll send it down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. We'll be right back with more of our panel. The subject is diabetes. Don't go away.
When you think that 35 to 40 years ago, they were thinking of diabetes as a kind of mental illness, especially when evidenced by low blood sugar, which leaves you very strange feeling and unable to function. They were just putting people into mental hospitals. We've come a long way.